I'm setting up this MacBook Neo, and normally what I do is I put my phone down here with one password, and I'll sit there and like manually type in passwords from the phone screen into here when I'm logging into things. But at OpenSauce, I ran into the guys from TechxArtisan. I don't know if you say it that, or TechxArtisan, or whatever they are. They handed me a couple things while I was there. This is the key mod. They have a couple versions of this. I think there's the Nano, which I have plugged in here, which is USB-C, and then the Plus, which also offers pass-through. This gives you remote keyboard and mouse control. So it's kind of like a KVM without the V. So it's a keyboard and mouse control, but not the video control. And it works with your iPhone. So I'll open this up. I have this open and connected to this little guy. And you can see I can use the iPhone as a touch screen. I can scroll up and down. So if I go here, I can scroll up and down like natural scrolling. And you can left click, and you can right click and middle click. I think right click and middle click don't do anything in this menu. Go to keyboard, and that gives you a full keyboard. So I can hit enter, hit tab and enter, tab. How do I select continue? There we go, enter. No, why can't I hit enter here? I don't know why the Mac doesn't let me like tab over to the continue button and hit enter, maybe space? Okay, space is enter apparently. But anyway, that's how this works. The coolest thing for me, so let's see, I'll just get through here. There's the numpad, keyboard, and touchpad. Interesting that you can't, doesn't look like there's an interface swap for that. I think this is like a very beta version for the iPhone. I think they have a more complete version on Android. But the big thing for me is this other option. You can set up macros, and you can log in via SSH. This also emulates a network card. There's a lot of those things, but here's what I'm going to do with this. So I'm in the sign-in screen for my Apple account, and the passwords that I have, like they're all 20, 40 characters long, however many characters. They have special characters and uppercase, lowercase. They're very annoying to type by hand. So now with this little guy, I can go in here and go to macros, and I can add multiple macros. This is just the iCloud password. I just hit it, and it enters the password for me through there as if I have a keyboard plugged in. So I don't have to look at it. I don't have to go into 1Password or anything. One thing I would like is if there was like a button here for like 1Password and fill in a password straight from there instead of having to add a macro for each one. But anyway, that's the cool thing. And then I can just hit continue. I'll be logged in. And there's also this keyboard and mouse pro mode where there's like a small keyboard and the touch screen, or the touchpad up here with scrolling capability still. There's that, and I guess if you turn it sideways, you get a little bit different. Oh, I don't know what's going on there. So like I said, this is the iOS version, which is a tiny bit buggy, but we're getting there. There's also, I don't know what this is. Looks like there's a street up there. I'd have to read the documentation on this stuff, but it also has a presenter mode, so you can go back and forward and use the touchpad and all that kind of stuff. There's a gamepad mode. Now at OpenSauce they showed a couple different controllers. I guess they might have different layouts. Yeah, they have like Minecraft, and so you could create your own layouts, I think, too, for different games that you play on the computer. Voice input, I guess. Some of these also, like there's an AI integration thing that you can like say do something and it'll do stuff on your computer. I don't trust that. I think that they have a grand vision for this, but for me, honestly, it would be worth it just for the ability to plug in a new computer and paste in passwords and things without having to go through the hassle of typing them all by hand, because that takes, 10, 20 minutes per computer that I'm reviewing when I'm setting it up and connecting into things to get my test harnesses set up. And I think these are $40 each, so they're not super cheap. They're not for everybody. I don't think that everybody watching this should buy one of these, but if you know who you are, if you do this, like for me, it's mostly because I review a lot of hardware and I'm testing a lot of systems, and I always need to enter passwords and things that are very long, URLs to get to places that are sometimes 40, 60, 80 characters. Instead of having to memorize them or have like a list of links I can get to on my local network or whatever, I can just paste them in through the phone, just plugging in a little USB stick. So very cool. These are, I think, in like beta right now. So you might be able to order them, but I think the firmware is still kind of a little bit rough around the edges. The basic stuff works fine. It's just a lot of the other things. I think the thing that they showed me on the floor was SSH into a machine, so you can actually have like a terminal session and do everything through your phone. This was the cool thing that I told them, like, this is solving a problem for me right away. And there might be some other things like this, but this is the first one I've seen. So in the comments, if you know of any other things like this little key mod, let me know of what they are, especially if there's any other cheap options that just have maybe a subset of the features on this guy.